So this is it. I'm going to try the Reverb G2 at 200% super sampling. That is 4,508 by 4,380. Let's see what it looks like. Hello folks, and welcome to this intriguing video that actually someone in my YouTube comments, I can't remember your name, but apologies, they gave me an idea. Now that I'm running a 1490 Beast, I've yet to try the Reverb G2 like crazy oversampled. So I thought, why not try this? Because I know some of you out there are kind of on the fence. Do you get a 1490 or do you get an Aero? Well, if the Reverb G2 can look absolutely like close to an Aero super sampled with the 1490, then you might not need both, saving yourself some money. So the way we're going to do this is by using the OpenXR development tool, making sure we've got a custom render scale, and we're going to go all the way up to 200%, okay? So that's going to be crazy oversampled. Now, even though the 4090 card, you know, feasibly should be able to cope with this, super sampling a headset is harder on performance than the native resolution. So we've got that to think about, but also, what is it going to look like in the Reverb G2 compared to the Aero? Well, we're going to find out right now, but first of all, a quick message from a new sponsor for the channel. I'll see you back here in 30 seconds. Oh, my tea's just arrived. Thank you very much. Now here's a question. Have you ever wondered if there's a way to take flying lessons from a real-world pilot whilst flying in your simulator? Think of it like the world's first VR flight school. Now imagine if you're a student pilot, you can prepare all of your flight lessons at home to save you money on your flight training. And for flight sim enthusiasts like me, you can learn valuable expert tips ranging from gliders all the way up to airliners and even helicopters. They also offer technical support, including setting up your VR headset and online ground instruction. For more information and to set up a free call with an instructor, check out flightsimcoach.com/VR. So this is it. I'm going to try the Reverb G2 at 200% super sampling. That is 4,508 by 4,380. Let's see what it looks like. Holy crap. That is sharp. There's no doubt about it. That is Varjo Aero levels of sharpness. Although I can see sort of like the pixels within the text because we are super sampling the heck out of this thing. That is remarkable. So right now we are sat on the ground at Birmingham, which is a payware airport. And we're getting 37 frames per second in the CRJ, which is of course an airliner. That just shows you the sheer grunt of that 4090 card. Keep in mind, we are super sampling the G2 by 200%. There's a few things that I've kind of realised straight away here. So let's just take off. Best we can anyway, because we're not configured for takeoff. The first thing is that even though the frames are remarkable considering what we're doing here. Let's get the flaps all set still. It's definitely lower than if I would say run the Aero with this kind of clarity. Because this is very much like the Aero at say 35 pixels per degree, I would say. Probably just a little bit sharper, perhaps 37 pixels per degree. And with that, I'd be getting 50 frames per second. So it does stand to reason what I said before, that the GPU has a harder time super sampling in VR than of course running the native resolution of the headset. To be fair, we're nearly at 40 frames per second now though. What I'll do is I'll just overlay some shots as well of the full screen of me in the future trying this out as well, so you can see sort of a full image. But I've got to say, this is incredibly sharp, beautifully sharp. Even the sort of small sweet spot of the Reverb G2 feels wider simply because even the peripheral part of the Fresnel base sort of lenses is sharper as well. But make no mistake, it's still a small sweet spot. I'm going to have to still move my head around quite a bit. So this does not feel like an Aero. I think that's the first thing I want to make sure you realise, is that this does not feel like an Aero. But the centre point of the reverb does feel like Aero sharpness. So I suppose this could be a viable option for 4090 owners that are thinking that an Aero is just too much of a stretch. You could even super sample this at 150% and it will look absolutely spectacular, because the Reverb is a fantastic headset without a doubt. But then I'm thinking, with this card I can actually run the Aero at 39 pixels per degree and still get better performance than this. So it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. Unfortunately, it's not great news. While this does look absolutely spectacular, you're really down on performance here compared to the Aero, but you are getting similar levels of clarity. That's kind of my takeaway with this, really, to be honest. And I could do an Aero test now, but I already know what kind of frames I get. So in this sort of scenario, I'd be getting easily 55 frames per second at 35 pixels per degree, and about 45 at 39 pixels per degree. And I think a lot of that is down to the Varjo-based software as well, being so well optimized. Whether here we're using the Windows Mixed Reality portal, which isn't great. But I have to say, this does look spectacular. Please do let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I do really appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.